Well, we finally moved out of Jefferson County. Now we're going to another county that connects to it, Cocke County. Let's see what we can find there. Hey everybody, welcome back to Appalachian Cemetery Hunting. Glad you're with us today. And like I said at the beginning, we are in a new county. Let's see what kind of interesting people that we can find here and history. So get your pen and pencil ready. Get ready to add some, maybe, hopefully, ancestors to that family tree. And we're going to be at the McGaha Cemetery. Here's a picture of the cemetery itself. We did a little research on the name McGaha, and it is Scottish. And in Scotland, in ancient times, McGaha was a name for a person who was skilled in riding horses, or who owned many horses. We thought we would give you just a little brief history of the area before we get into the cemetery itself, so bear with me. The Cherokee Indian tribe inhabited the area for centuries before the European settlers arrived. And in 1783, John Gilliland first settled near the Fritch Broad and Pigeon rivers. And in 1787, James Swaggerty, I know you've heard of Swaggerty sausage, I think that's from the same family, possibly, built a fort in what would become Cocke County for protection from Indian attack. Now this block house from that time is only one of two remaining in Tennessee. And it was built in a cantilever style over a water source. The county was established in 1797 and was named for William Cocke, who was born in Virginia. Now, he was a member for the Virginia House of Burgesses before the American Revolution. And in 1776, he, as a colonel in the militia, and was one of Tennessee's first senators. Now, during the Civil War, the county was largely pro-Union, even though Tennessee was officially part of the Confederacy. The county was heavily damaged by Hurricane Helena in 2024. If you guys remember that, it was a disaster. Here's a map that shows cemetery is located east of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and close to the North Carolina border. So we're in the Smokies here, guys. The first burial that we could find was in 1841. But there could be some older ones that we are not aware of. They are 55 people buried here. So here we go. We got Phoebe Octavia Allison, 1855 to 1871. Martha Benson, we have no dates for her, but as you can see, the inscription on her headstone was hand-carved. Elizabeth Campbell, there's no dates for her either, and her headstone is also hand-carved. So I would say those are pretty old. We have Lilia Campbell, 1927 to 1932, and she was only 5 years old. Rhoda McGaha Campbell, 1823 to 1860, and the inscription on her headstone is hand-carved as well. So they just took care of themselves here. We have a Liddy Carver, 1891 to 1895, only 4 years old. Israel P. Carver, 1863 to 1901. And we found a newspaper article telling how he was murdered. And I'm going to read that for you here. It says, the headline of this clipping, got rid of him. Wilts McMahon shot and killed Israel Carver at Cosby Creek in Cocke County Sunday night And it is said it was because Miss Lizzie Carver, who had been ruined, now just think of that, who had been ruined by McMahon. McMahon was a lumberman who is from the north and had been in the mountains buying logs and became acquainted with this young lady. And the result was that she was unfortunate. You guys know where I'm going with this. We've got ruined, unfortunate. So Israel Carver, with whom the young lady, who was his sister, made her home, told her brother of her condition, and he met McMahon and made him agree to marry her. So I'd say she was pregnant. And this he did agree to do and complied with this agreement last Saturday. Well, Sunday night, the men left the Carver home, both being friendly, and started to church. They were riding and had gone but just a short distance until shots from a pistol were heard. The Carver family suspected something and rushed to the scene and found that Carver, the brother of the young lady, had been shot through the breast and was dead. So, wow. Some drama there. Let's move on. We got next to Israel, his wife, Laura Elmira Harold Carver, 1861 to 1935. She was born in Haywood County, North Carolina. Next is John Carver, 1855 to 1926. Margaret Benson Carver, 1859 to 1923. And look at the cross and the lambs carved on her headstone. Isn't that cute? We have Franklin Jim Dorsey, 1931 to 1977. Mary Tritt Dorsey, 1879 to 1937. Richard Douglas, 1941 to 2004. And from his headstone, he must have played the mandolin. Here's a close-up of the picture of his headstone. That's awesome. We have John Inslee. Don't have any dates for him. And Vinette Evans. We do not know when she was born, but we know she died in 1878. So then again, it could have been born and died situation. Next is Frances Norton Grooms. They called her Fanny, and she was born in 1830 and passed away sometime in the early 1890s. Irene Vina Harrell. She was born in September of 1925, only lived 9 months. She died later in July of 1926. We have Isaac Berter Harrell. He was born March of 1902, died November of 1902. So he was only 8 months old. There's a lot of children in this cemetery. It's sad. So sad. Now we have Joseph I. Harrell, 1897 to 1924. And Joseph was a veteran of World War I. Alice Ruth Hill, 1937 to 2011. Andrew Johnson Hooper, 1862 to 1879. Next to him is his wife, Mary Hooper, 1810. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not his wife. But there's a Mary Hooper, 1810 to 1841. And it looks like her headstone is lying on the ground. And we may have an early settler here. 1810 is pretty early, to 1841. And then we have W. Jackson Hooper. They called him Jack, 1828 to 1864. His grave marker is laying on the ground, and you can tell that it's hand carved also. And he was born in North Carolina. Now, this Jackson, they called him Jack, served in Company E of the 2nd Tennessee in the Union Army, but we don't know what type of regiment this was. And he died during the war. and we don't know if he was killed in action from his wounds later or what happened, but we know he died during the war. It could have been killed in action. It could have been some kind of disease. They had a hard, rough life. Next, we have Abraham Hopkins, 1827 to 1863. He served in Company A of the 11th Tennessee Cavalry in the Union Army, and Abraham died during the war in North Carolina. Next to him is his wife, Nancy Marie Butler Hopkins, 1818 to 1905. Benjamin Parker Hopkins, 1808 to 1884, and we don't have a picture of his grave, but we did find this awesome photo of him. Look at that. Here is Fletcher White Hopkins, 1857 to 1933. They called him Fletch. Just look at the cool picture of him. Next is B.J. Ivins. We don't have a birth year, but we know that they died in 1886. Imogene Johnson, 1922 to 1926, another child, only 4 years old, and her twin brother, John N. Johnson. And for those twins to be 4 years old and they died at the same time, that's probably more likely some kind of accident or some kind of, flu. I don't know. But that's sad. Losing twins, 2 children at one time. We have Margaret Carver Johnson, 1836 to 1918, and her husband, Matthew Henderson Johnson. We don't have a birth date for him, but he did die in 1883. He served as a private in Company C of the 8th Tennessee Cavalry in the Union Army during the Civil War. Now we have Burton McGaha, 1877 to 1882, and he was only 5 years old when he passed. Wow, this cemetery is full of babies. Next we have his mother, Eliza Johnson McGaha, 1832 to 1909. She was born in North Carolina. His father was John McGaha, 1837 to 1881, and John served as a private in Company E of the 2nd Tennessee Cavalry in the Union Army during the Civil War. Now we have John T. McGaha, 1894 to 1922, John W. McGaha, 1857 to 1895, James Anderson McMahon, 1865 to 1901. Now this next guy, he has a unusual surname for me because this is another new surname. It's Henry Rawhard. Rawhard. We don't have a birth year for him, but he passed away in 1887. Then there's Joseph M. Rawlings, or Rowlands. They called him Joe. Born in 1844, and we could not find a death date on him. But we have his wife, Lily Sintel, 1845 to 1885. And if you can see both of their headstones, they're just creek rock. And the inscriptions on them, of course, are hand carved. We did actually find a picture of Lily. Look at that. There's David L. Williamson. He was born September the 14th of 1933, only lived for 21 days. Hartley Williamson, 1905 to 1938. Leroy Williamson, he was born in May of 1929 and died in July 1929, only 2 months. And now we have his sister, Queenie Helen Williamson. She was born August of 1930 and passed away the following January, only making her 5 months old. Oh, heartbreaking. Moving on, we have Lou Eller Harold Wilson, 1904 to 1934. Her husband, Orville Lee Wilson, 1900 to 1936. Rachel Ellen Wilson. She was born and had died March the 14th of 1925. William Graydon Wilson. He was born in December of 1928 and he passed away in November of 1929. Like I said, 11 months old. There's a lot of children in this one. Pauline Hopkins Wise, 1916 to 1991. That's a little newer. They are 6 people buried here that don't have pictures of their graves. Of course, we always try to get them out there. We have Delilah Carver Campbell. She was born in 1835. We don't know when she died. Ruth Tinker Hopkins. She was born in 1808. We don't have a death date on her either. Elizabeth Campbell McGaha. She was born in 1802 with no death date. Then we have M.L.V. McGaha, 1893 to 1916. Robert McGaha. He was born in 1800, but we don't know when he passed either. And the last person that we found in this cemetery is Barbara Jean Schultz. We don't have any dates for her. No birth, no death. But this was going to finish our look at the Russell McGaha Cemetery in Cocke County, Tennessee. And we sure hope you enjoyed this little video and a little history about Cocke County. Guys, if you know anything about this cemetery or some, more cemeteries that we ought to look at in Cocke County, hey, let us know. Make a comment. And be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification buttons if you don't mind. And like I said, hopefully next week we'll be at a new cemetery if the Lord's willing. We'll see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.